About myself, yeah, you summed it up pretty nicely over there. I'm from Germany. I'm based in Bali. We've met in Dubai, which was pretty awesome. And yeah, I'm a digital nomad, if you're familiar with that term. So basically, I work from anywhere and I create online courses and coaching packages and I help people to scale to six figures organically without spending money on ads, right? And as you already said, yes, I believe a course or a coaching package is in everybody. So if you have a expertise or a skill, you can probably package this up into a digital product and sell it online. I've been in this space for about 15 years now. And
Mhm.
yeah, it's been an amazing journey because of set benefits, location independence, financial independence, right? So yeah, let's discuss more about it.
All right. Yeah, yeah. I love that. Actually, I picked up two things from there. So one, you can do it organically, so you don't really need to spend money on ads. Because everywhere I've read that, to get traffic, you need to spend money. So I think you're doing something really different here and getting sales from organic, like leads. So how does that work? Like, does that really work, first of all? And how much money can people make with that?
Yes, it does really work. So I have made six figures in my first year of being in business and five figures in my first launch as well. All organically.
Right.
I have not until today not spent a single penny on ads just yet. We will be adding this to our strategies in a few weeks. However, I don't even believe somebody who's just starting out and just testing their messaging and all of that should actually be spending money on ads anyway, because you're still figuring out so many things, right? Who are you speaking to? What is your messaging? You don't really know what resonates yet with your audience. Do people respond to what you have to say online? Things like that. So yes, you could run ads, but it's going to be an expensive experiment, right? Because you have to spend a lot of money to just figure it out. So I always recommend to just figure it out organically, because if you just post a few posts on Facebook, for example, people don't engage, you didn't lose anything. Like, it didn't cost you a thing, right? You just learned that thing didn't work, or the algorithm didn't pick it up on time, or whatever other reasons could also be the reason why people didn't respond, right? But at least you didn't spend money on ads, because chances are Facebook or YouTube or whatever platform you could run paid ads are going to act like a black hole and suck up all your money if you not have the foundation set straight. So that's really what I'm, encourage everyone to do, to just really set the foundation correctly, so that once it's working organically, once you're selling 10K months organically, then you can, put ads to the mix, paid ads to the mix, because paid ads is not a replacement to make something work that's not working in the first place. It's an accelerant to make something bigger that's already working. So that's why I think it's a smarter move to do it organically. Yeah.
Right, right. That's great. That's great. So how big of a following do I need to start with? Like, do I need to have a million social media followers to start with? Or can I start with, let's say, if I have just 500 friends on Facebook, will that help me?
Sure. 500 friends on Facebook will not do much unless you can manage to get them into email list. So followers, social media, you don't need any social media followers. Very big misconception, right? You also actually don't need an existing email list, because you can build that email list in a few weeks' time to hit your first five-figure launch, for example, right? So if you're starting from scratch, you have your idea, you have your infrastructure ready to start promoting and to build your list, you can generate like 100 leads off social media per week without spending money on ads, to take them off social media and put them into your funnel. And then from there, depending on your price point, of course, whenever you run your launch, how much are you going to charge for your course or coaching package? You can just easily make the calculation how many people you would need to attend your conversion event if you run a challenge, for example, or a webinar, in order to then know the number of people you need to have in order to have a five-figure launch. So it can be as little as 200 people, and you can build that list in a few weeks. So there's no such thing as, oh, I don't have a social media following, or I don't have an existing email list, I can't make this work. That's just simply not true.
Right, right. But then how do I know what the people that follow me or my friends or, anyone on social media actually like, what are they interested in? Like, what kind of course should I create so that I can see some success with that?
Okay, you should create a course around the expertise you have. It's not about, okay, you're starting from scratch right now and you're looking at your 500 Facebook friends, right? It's more about, hey, what is the thing that you're actually really good at and you can teach to other people? And then from there, you start building your audience. You start finding the people who are interested in that thing, and then you add them to your friends list.
Okay, okay. So like, let's say my expertise is, writing stories for kids, right? So if I write short stories for kids and I like that's my niche.
Yeah.
How do I turn that into a course, or how do I start? Like, what are the three things I need to do to kind of kick off from zero? Yeah.
Okay, so if you write short stories for kids, could also be done for your service, right? Or so
Hmm.
first of all, you would need to decide who is your target audience.
Hmm.
Obviously, it's not the kids, it's obviously going to be the parents because they're going to be the ones with the money who pay for the thing. But what is that thing? Are you going to teach parents how to write short stories? If you teach it, that could be a course. If you are going to write those stories for the parents, according to whatever event is going on in their lives, maybe the kids' birthdays or whatever event, right? And they want to have a special gift. Maybe it's done for your service and you want to write the stories for them. So you just really need to decide, first of all, what is it that you're selling? If it's courses and if it's teaching, who is your audience? Like parents, okay. What kind of parents? Where are they located? What is their goal? What is the end transformation you're going to offer? So first of all, clarity on what it is that you're selling, then who it is you're selling it to, and then what is the exact transformation they're getting out of attending the course or coaching program. Maybe it can also be a mix of both. You could also
Hmm.
potentially sell courses with a little bit of done for you component included in that.
Right, right, right. Okay. And then, like in your experience, right, are there certain topics or certain niches which are much better than the others to kind of, scale things and you like basically make more money? Like,
Yeah. So niching down is a very good thing to do. Like for this example with the kid stories, another niche could, for example, be other writers. Your niche could be I'm focusing on other writers who could be storytellers and then create children's books. That could be a completely different niche, which is probably more profitable because you are kind of like teaching them a skill what will make them money. Versus if
right,
you would focus on parents who would use the end product for the end children, it's kind of like entertainment. It's like a nice to have. It's not really a must have. Versus if you teach somebody who makes money, who can make money from that skill, it's more profitable. So there are really the most three profitable niches are health, wealth, and relationships. And this example of teaching other writers how to craft exciting children's stories would then be under the wealth niche, I would say.
right, right. So let's say if I enjoy doing that, I can probably teach other people how to write short stories or kids stories, and
Yeah,
then become an author and then put their books on Amazon and start
sure.
earning like a passive income. Right. That could be a direction I could take. So apart from having my own books, which actually bring me some sales and really good money, I could probably teach other people the same thing and then build that into a course or like a coaching business. Right.
100%. And that will bring you in much more money than selling books. Selling
Right.
books is great. It positions you a little bit as an authority and expert in your space. But once you actually get into the teaching space and teach somebody how to do it, it is more profitable than selling online books. Yeah.
Right. Right. Okay. Now, I think how do I position myself as like as a person who knows how to kind of teach other people? Like I might be good at something, right? But I don't know if I'm really good at other people. There are so many other experts out there. Why would someone want to learn from me and not them?
Good question. Because many people actually have that, mindset thing going on. Like, why me? Am I good
Right.
enough? And is my product good enough and whatnot? But why not you? Because you have a different perspective than somebody else has. You can tell different stories in your marketing that connect with your target audience in a different way than somebody else can, because everyone has unique perspectives, experiences, and stories to tell. Right. And the way you connect with your audience online is through storytelling. Like you share your stories. How did you end up where you ended up today? How did you get there? What were your obstacles? And each and everyone's story is a little bit different. And the people who will eventually become your customers, they can connect with you through those stories because they may be in a similar situation, right? So you got to figure out a little bit where is your customer at right now, and then tell a story about that. Meet them where they're at so that they can identify themselves with you and think like, okay, why Angkor? Well, Angkor is used to be in the same spot as I am right now, but now he is over there and he makes this much money, for example, or he sold this many books or whatever it is where they want to get to. So they see that you are a normal person, not a superhero, not Tony Robbins, because nobody can really identify themselves with Tony Robbins. Like it's too far away. Like this person is too famous, right? So that's why I would encourage everyone who's listening to this and has this mindset block, why me? Like, why not you? Like, people, you have the advantage to connect much better with people
Mhm.
than any celebrity ever will have. Yeah,
Right, right.
that's what I would say.
How did you find that for yourself? Like, how did you like, did you just stumble upon it, or was it engineered, or like, how did you do that?
How did I do what?
uh, how did you come across this, this hurdle of, repositioning yourself, or kind of trying to, start building an audience for that niche that you're working in?
Yeah, so I just use Facebook a lot.
Hmm.
You start nurturing your audience with content. That's how you start. Content on your
Right.
Facebook page. Then you start building the audience through different Facebook groups, friend requests, outreach, connecting with IDMs, and things like that. Then at some point you launch. Right, you
Right.
position yourself as an expert, and if you run a conversion event, may this be a webinar challenge, maybe even a summit, an online summit, that can really position yourself as the expert, because if you talk for 4 days straight about a specific topic and people come to your presentation, it's the same thing as you go to an offline event, right? You just meet them on Zoom here. If they come to your presentation, like they've been listening to you for like 4 days straight, where you prove yourself as the expert, where you can position yourself as the expert because you're presenting the topic and you teach them something, right? That you show
Right.
them that you know what you're talking about. So connect to effect and educate to dominate is one of my content pillars, right? So
Mhm.
education is really key. And then there's other things you can do to really position yourself as an authority, which is, for example, becoming a writer for a famous publication. Like I write for entrepreneur.com, for example, or a CEO magazine, many other publications. And in order to land a gig with them, it's quite difficult to get in because they will also go and stalk you a little bit. And they don't take just everybody, right? Like you have to have your online presence in place a little bit in order to be accepted. So, but once you're in, then you can say, hey, I'm writing for this particular publication. And then everybody will be like, oh my God, that's so cool, right? That helps again to elevate that authority or that to position yourself as an expert. Now, let me say, you don't need this when you're just getting started. You can also sell loads of courses without being a writer for entrepreneur.com, but it will help you to gain a little bit more expert status. And there's many more things you can do in order to achieve that. If
Right.
you want, I
Right.
can share a
So
little bit more what you can do there.
sure, why not? Yeah.
Yeah. This, for example, podcasts, right? Like chat with other
Right.
people about the topic and give the audience another medium to consume your content. Like right now, people may be sitting in their car driving to work, or maybe you may be in the gym and listening to Tina and Encore, right? Wherever you are, it's a different sort of like medium you're consuming this from. Maybe this goes on YouTube. People at night watch YouTube, right? Or if they're bored, they scroll through Facebook and you may see this clip popping up on Facebook, right? So you can chop this up into different kind of content pieces and share it online. But back to the point, being on a podcast can be, you can be seen a little bit more as an expert, and people also have the chance to get to know you a little bit more. So publications, podcasts. Another thing could be writing a blog, establishing a
Right.
blog on your own website. Why? Because again, people will see you're able to talk about a topic, you're able to explain things, and you just automatically assume you are an expert because you just showed you know what you're talking about, right? And any kind of content piece like this is really, really helping you to achieve that expert status.
Okay, so to summarize a little bit, people don't need a lot of people like followers on social media to begin with, right? They
Right,
can basically just find out what they're good at and then start creating that content on all the social media channels out there.
right,
And then once they start doing that, automatically they will start attracting the right kind of people who are interested in that type of content or that topic. And
right.
after that, they can start turning those people into email leads and email lists. So just point them onto a landing page or an opt-in page, and then they will enter their email, and then you can give them like a free ebook or something, or a short book, or like whatever, right? And that will basically start building your email lists from scratch.
Correct.
And as you do that and you keep doing that, and once you have a sizable enough list, you can start, selling something at a lower price, I guess, first, right? So how does that work? Like, do you start, like, can I start to sell a $2,000 course from day one, or is it essential to start from a lower ticket item and then scale up from there?
Yeah, good question. You can absolutely sell any kind of price from day one. The pricing really depends on the transformation you're offering to the customer. What is that transformation worth to you, right? For example, let's take a very extreme example. Maybe you're sick right now Okay, so that's health, the health niche. You're sick, and if we can go to this particular doctor who can make this particular surgery, you will continue to live. If you don't go, you will not continue to live. How much is that worth to you?
Right.
That's the transformation. That's how to showcase how important is that for the people. Well, obviously, there's nothing more important than being healthy and to continue to live. Nothing else matters, right? So that's why healthcare is pretty expensive, because people want to keep living and people want to be healthy. Now, if you would sell a course on or expertise on knitting, it would probably not be, you could probably not charge $10,000 for that, right? So
Right.
because it's not essential to survive. It's not essential to, like, health, wealth and relationships, right? So knitting is the transformation. What is that worth to the end customer? Well, how much will that change your life if you know how to knit? Well, again, it depends. Like, if you're just teaching a hobby and because people are bored or grandmas want to sit together, whatever it is, right? It's not that much of a transformation. It could be a much more expensive product or more high ticket offer if you would teach somebody how to build a business out of knitting, for example. It really again depends on the audience and the transformation. What is the transformation worth to the people?
Knitting, right? So knitting is not something like people really, really want to do in knitting. So you need to find topics or any niches that people really, really want, and they would actually spend good money for in order to achieve that transformation. So, like health, wealth, relationships, right? So people who are wanting to make more money, people who are wanting to get more fit or lose, 30 pounds, or people who are like basically, find the man of their dreams or find the woman of their dreams sort of thing, or meet really find a rich husband sort of thing. But yeah. Yeah, that's a really good niche. I've heard people do super well about, like, with that. Like, there are people in New York right now,
Really?
yeah, who charge, I think, what, like maybe $10,000 for introducing you to the right people in the right circles. Yeah. And then
Okay.
that's how you find. So yeah, that's a really good niche. So definitely,
It is definitely a
definitely.
very profitable niche.
Yes, yes, yes. And it's a very low cost one as well, right? You just need to maintain a database of people and then just find who connects with whom, and then that's it. And I think establishing a brand and your authority is probably the next step. Like, basically, in certain niches, people might not care who you are, but in certain niches, they would want to. Like, you would not want to go to an unknown doctor, let's say, in the health niche, right? But you would want to go to a very, like, famous or a popular one. I think that also helps in sense of attracting the right leads. So at one point you are just doing, outbound marketing, and then once you are more established and you have a bit of a brand, you have, like, you write for different publications or online blogs, you go on a few podcasts, and then you start attracting the right leads automatically without having to spend money on traffic or without having to do a lot of push marketing, right? So that's probably
Yeah, for sure. However, I don't think you have to be famous in order to be successful at all,
okay.
right? Like, for example, let me ask, do you have a driver's license for cars?
I do, yeah.
Right. So let me ask you, did you take those lessons? Did you get those driving license in your local driving school, or did you hire Michael Schumacher to give you driver's license
Yeah,
lessons?
just the local school, right? Yeah.
Right. So you don't care about if your teacher, your driving school is famous or not, right? Like, it really depends on, like, how your messaging is resonating with the audience. So yeah, while this is all great and nice to be on all these podcasts and, you know, write for publications, and because it's been seen as high value from the outside world, it doesn't mean it's necessary to to launch. Like, really, just launch and to just get started is the bare minimum, is fine. And then yeah, you can just work your way up from there.
Okay, okay. So as far as email leads go, right? Like, how do you think, like, how many leads is a good starting point for someone to kind of say that, okay, now I can probably create a course and there are enough people interested in what I want to teach or talk about?
Yeah, so it really depends on your goal, on your financial goal, I would say. So I teach people how to launch and how they can achieve a five-figure launch. So what is that? Well, $10,000, for example. Let's say our course is $2,000. That means you only need five customers, right?
Right.
So if you need five customers and the typical conversion rate from challenges between 2 and 3%, right? So 2 and 3% is is 5 people, right? So what is the 100%? Then let me just make the calculation really quick. So 100% times 5 is 500 divided by 2%. So you need 250 people attending your event in order
Right.
to have 10K launches. So
Okay.
that's pretty simple, pretty easy to achieve, right?
Mhm. Okay, so 250 people attending, and for that, you probably need like how many people on your email list? Because I'm sure not everyone on your list will come and attend your events, right? Or
Not
your
attending, not like show ups, like also other
okay,
people who don't show up will actually buy. So just
okay,
having them registered for your event.
right, right,
So you can build your email list with some freebies or whatever, which is connected to the topic of the event. So you have the right people, right? You pre-qualify with that content already. And then after you invite everybody to get on that challenge or on the webinar or whatever conversion event you run. And then from there, you just want to aim on getting the number of signups, in this case, 250, in order to hit your financial goal. But really, it depends on how much money you want to make and how much effort you want to put in there to generate those leads. So typically, the system we teach is you can get 100 leads off social media, Facebook mainly, per week for
mhm,
free without paying money on ads. So, but that's, you need to be on it like every day. Like you really need to focus for a few weeks in order to make this happen. But hey, why not? 10K is so life changing money for many people, right? But also, it's also the experience and the validation of, hey, I just sold something what people would actually want. I actually have now my idea validated. They have this confidence within themselves then to keep going, right? Okay, now I know I can make 10K launches. Now I trust myself more. I also know the audience wants it. Now I just rinse and repeat and add another layer of some sort of activity to the launch, which makes it even bigger, right?
right, right. Yeah, I think having a first sale is a really, really amazing experience. Like for anyone who has not done it before. Like I remember when I made my first sale, and it was like really awesome. Like I could not believe that someone just basically sent me money through the internet, and I was basically in India back then, and I'm like, someone sent me like $500 for the first time, and I'm like, this is pretty awesome. Like maybe we should do more of this. And then
Amazing.
15 years later, here we are. Yeah.
Nice. Do you remember
Yes.
the product you sold?
It was like a graphic design service where I was doing like a sales page graphic design for someone, and then I
Cool.
just like basically opened up a few spots, and then I took like initially I think I did a few free samples, and then that got me some initial testimonials, and then after that basically once you add that kind of social proof to the page, it just adds to more credibility and trust, and then after that having your first sale is not that hard, right? So I think
Right.
finding the right niche and where the audience is actually super important. So I think once you know where the audience hangs out, where your niche is mostly there, that will really really help you, right? So I think the Facebook groups that are about writing, let's say, or about any topic or health, wealth, or relationships, just find all those Facebook groups and then just probably start adding value to those groups, and then eventually you will start automatically getting leads from there, right? I think that will probably work well
That's
for free.
another really great strategy. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's what we were doing back then, like just finding those online groups and forums and stuff, and just posting there. And then yeah, like I think we also did like a revamp your sales page kind of thing. So we would take like really bad sales pages and turn them into really good ones, and then those transformations would actually give us like a lot of social proof as well. And then that's what people would be interested in, like, okay, I have a really bad looking website, and then how do I turn this into a really good looking site which actually converts better? And then that also adds up, right? So I think for any topic, right, if you find the first maybe 10 people who are interested and raise their hands, you can just take them through a journey and then gather all that social proof, and then they might become
Sure.
a customer for a higher ticket package because you build the trust and that relationship with them. And then after
Sure.
that you can,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah, and then they will obviously bring more customers for you as well. Like I think one of the other hacks we did was basically finding, like, just using referrals as a strategy, right? So just basically turn every customer into a recommendation engine, and then once you do that, you have like an unlimited amount of leads that you don't have to pay for upfront, basically, right?
Right. Word of mouth marketing is the
Yeah,
strongest. It's the oldest
yeah,
in the book, but the most effective one. Yeah.
right, right, right. Okay, coming back to courses, like so if I want to create a course, like how do I actually start with? Like, do I need to just write an outline and then just expand from there, or like how do I know what topic of the course do will do really well?
Yeah. Uh, what topic will do really well? You have to do your market research. You have to go out and validate your topic idea. After you found that, you just create a rough structure, a rough outline. And I don't recommend you to go and then actually create a course. I recommend you to sell this first before you actually create it, because there's no point in creating a product nobody wants to buy, right? If
Right,
you
right,
lock yourself in your room or in your house for like a few weeks or months to create it, and then you go out and try to sell it, nobody buys doo, right? And you are maybe even have created the wrong content, because you need to involve your audience as well in order to find really good content to make it a really great and scalable course or coaching program. So first, go out, validate the topic in the marketplace, see if people actually have a problem. That problem, what you're trying to solve, like find a big problem. The bigger the problem you can solve, the more money you can charge, right? Back to the knitting or surgery or health and things like that. So the bigger the problem, the more it's worth to the people, the more money you can charge. Oh, I wanted to add earlier as well, which doesn't mean you can't make money from the knitting. Like if you want to sell low ticket courses, you can absolutely be very successful with knitting courses as well. If it's like really low ticket, like 100 to 300 bucks or something like that, right?
right,
It can, you can be very successful, but it's very difficult to get to 5 figures or 6 figures or 7 figures with that, at the beginning or in general, really, like, because if you handle so many support tickets for so many low ticket people, it's expensive as well. And it's a lot of work, and I would never recommend it actually, but it's not impossible. I just wanted to make that very clear as well.
right, right. And these sales for the courses, like if I'm trying to actually sell something for $2,000, like these sales
Mhm.
mostly happen through like a phone call, or they happen through a conversation. Like, how does that work? Like,
Depends on how warm
I
your
to actually
audience is,
call people.
really.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, 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 you go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm is it required to actually get on the phone to do sales of at this price point? Like I've always heard that in order to sell something higher ticket or like mid ticket, you need to do phone calls, you need a sales team, and blah blah blah. But if I'm a one person at home, I don't want to get on the phone with people. Are there ways to do it without that?
Yeah, the sales team crew. Hello there. So this, you don't need a sales team if if you're just a solopreneur with a few people and stuff. It really depends on your financial goals again, right? If you want to make millions and millions and millions, yes, you have to have a sales team at some point, because you can't take possibly all the sales calls in the world, which you need to take in order to get there, right? But if your goal is, if you don't want to run a huge organization and manage a sales team of, I don't know, 10 people, and do stand up meetings every morning, every afternoon, and every night in order to keep them motivated, which you need to do, because salespeople need to be motivated, right? Like, um, if you don't, it's not necessary though. Like, again, it depends on the financial goal. All depends on that, what kind of strategies you implement. Generally speaking, for the strategies, do you need to take people on a phone call for 2000? You can just get away with that, to not take people on a call for 2000. Anything above 2000, you probably need to put some FaceTime in,
Right.
just because the price tag is higher, right? People may have different objections, which you're able to uh, overcome with them together on a phone call, which you probably will not be able to do in Messenger or with a sales page only, right? Sometimes people just want to have the confidence that you actually really, and you show up,
Yeah.
right? That's something, or they just need you to tell them it's okay, you can just buy. So
Right.
people just often just need that little nudge. It's okay, you can buy that thing, it's fine, and then they just buy, right? Like it, but it really depends how well you warmed up your audience, how long they have been in your circles, how much content they have consumed from you. So there's this thing out there, it's just got like the 7 hour rule. They
Yep.
say people, if they consume 7 hours of your content, they're ready to buy. So the more you can make them consume content of yours, the easier it is to sell further down the line. So if you run the first launch and you have a couple of sales, a few sales, don't worry, like more sales will come further down the line, because the more launches you run, or the more events, or the more content you put out there, the more people will get to know you, and the more they will feel like, okay, you are going to be the right person for to teach them this particular thing, right? So it's really a long-term game. So here, to understand, here's a few numbers: 50% of the people who come into your ecosystem will buy, and the other 50% will never buy. So let's focus on the 50% that will. 15 are ready to buy right now, but 85 will need more time. They're ready to buy in the next 60, 90 days or maybe even later. But the more you are out there, the more you position yourself as the expert, the more you talk about it on podcasts, on videos, on Facebook posts, whatever it is that you choose, the more likely you will convert.
Yes.
Sorry, my dog is just.
No worries, no worries. Yeah. So I think creating content is like super important here, right? Because if I keep creating content, I not only get new leads and new people interested in my niche or my topic, but I also actually convert more of my existing audience into possible customers, and then they're more likely to buy. So they might not buy because I wrote 15 blog posts, but that 16th blog post might really hit them, and then they might really get over the fence and buy, right? So I think creating content, evergreen, is kind of the key here, right? If you just keep doing that, you are more likely to sell and mm, get those 5 figures, right?
Absolutely, yes. Continuously, but also you can quickly scale to 6 figures then.
Mhm.
Like you don't need all of these big content pieces out there first time launching, right? Like first time launching, you just should focus on sales and launching the thing to just get that approval and boost your confidence a little bit as well. But the more you do it, the more content you put out there. Yes, of course. Later on, like you said, blog post number 16 resonates. The time is right for them right now. They're ready right now. Then that's the piece what makes them go, okay,
Right.
because you have been present the last 15 times when you published that blog post, right? Like people will go to you want to make sure that you're on top of people's minds as the go-to expert all the time, because whenever they're ready, they go to that person who is on top of their mind.
Right.
So you want to make sure that you're that person.
Yep. Yep. Staying on top, plus I think adding more value or adding new things to the whole mix really, really helps. I think I read a book somewhere where they said, new information equals to new decision. So I think if you just keep giving them new information all the time, they might change their decision about something, and then that converts them into a sale, right?
I like that. New information, new decision.
Yeah.
But it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, new information, but also maybe addressing particular information from different angles,
Right. Right.
right? Explaining it in different ways,
Yeah.
telling different stories. So one story may resonate with one person, the other story may not, right? So
Yeah.
talking about different angles and different scenarios, that also really helps.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I was recently working on, like, I was just trying to workshop something for myself, internally, and then I'm like, okay, how do I create like a series of content pieces to kind of get it out there on social media. And I think the best way is to just do like a big brain dump, and then you just find everything that you want to do, and then just kind of break that into parts, and just keep you know niching down from there on every topic. So like, write down about objections, write down about the first about the pros and cons of the same thing, and then what objections that person might have, and then what more do they need to learn, and then what else they could possibly do to actually get closer to what they want to do. So I think all that will
Right.
create like a series of maybe 10 to 12 social media posts very, very easily, and then just throw it out there, and then you can just I don't think people need to think a lot about creating that much content.
Right. Like it's really about just being creative. Also, like when you listen to podcasts or like you said, this book, new information equals new um sales, or
New
what did you how was
decisions.
it? Decisions, yes. New information, new decisions, right? Like if this resonates with you, just pull out your phone, put down a keyword,
Mhm.
and then next time you are in your content creation mode, you look at it, what you wrote down, and you can write a little story about it, why new information means new decisions. And then you can put your take on it as well. Like if you go for a walk and you listen to some podcast and you hear something what resonates with you, put a keyword down into your notes in the phone, and the next time you have already kind of like the ideas. This is how you can assure, okay, a consistent flow of creating content as well.
Right, right. Awesome, awesome. And speaking of courses, again, like, are you using something like chat gpt to create some kind of content for yourself, or how can people use that, like, to kind of streamline more of their course content?
Right. So ChatGPT, I use it sometimes for emails.
Hmm.
So I copy and paste my email in there and say like, hey, make this more engaging, more funny, or more this or that, whatever. I don't use it for blog posts because for some publications it is not allowed. So there is like ChatGPT AI detectors out there, and if they would figure out this is created by AI, they'll probably kick me out. So I just stick to the guidelines.
Right, right,
And then for the course outline, well, my courses have already been pretty much done before the era of ChatGPT, right?
right.
But we are looking to implement this now into our courses in the next few weeks, actually,
Mhm.
to help people with prompts which they can use in ChatGPT to be more efficient with creating the outline. However, I would still emphasize on the fact that it's not just about, so the way you create the content for the courses is 50% probably like the expertise, what
Mhm.
you think as the expert they need to know in order to get there. And also the other half needs to be like what they think they need in order to get there.
Right.
You need to involve them in their beliefs into the course and content as well, because then that way they actually get to the finish line. And the only way to find this out is through the first beta round, or maybe if you want to run 2 beta rounds, you can do that, and then really involve your students in order to get that feedback and make that content better.
Okay.
But yes, generally speaking, ChatGPT has been a great help in order to create some marketing materials.
Yeah, yeah. It's a great assistant to kind of fine tune things that you would want, and then just make things more interesting, right? And
Yeah,
then yeah, I've used it to create some kind of outlines for YouTube videos, or for like sales videos, for like a sales page,
nice.
or like marketing copy, all that. So that works really, really well.
Oh, good that you say that. So for YouTube videos, for example, I have not used this for my YouTube channel just yet, because also a new requirement from Google, by the way, for all your SEO nerds out there, maybe, if you create content for written blog posts for Google or even for YouTube, right? The way you have a better chance to rank higher than everyone else is to add your own experience to the mix.
Mhm.
That's something ChatGPT can't do for you, right? You can take the outline though, like you can take whatever, if you say like, hey, write me a script for a YouTube video about how to clean my house properly or whatever, right? So then it writes the general information it finds online, but what helps you to rank and to stand out is again your experience, which it obviously doesn't know about because it's a robot programmed until 2021, I think. So yeah, if you add your own expertise to it, that will also really, really help to stand out, to help you rank, and also to create that connection again. Because I think some of that ChatGPT content also sounds like it has been created by ChatGPT. Like
Yeah.
you really want to make sure still to add a little bit of yourself to the piece of content.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I think about 2 or 3 prompts, and after that you can get it more fine tuned. But I would never take the first response I get from ChatGPT and use it directly.
Right. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so talking about going from 0 to 5 figures, now is that the same strategy you would apply to go from 5 to 6 figures, or is there a different strategy for that?
Um, Good question. First time to go, I mean, it depends. It depends on the niche, right? So for pretty hypey niches and stuff, I would always recommend challenges and launches,
Hmm.
like make money online, lose weight, do this, do that, like get people in action. However, not every niche is good for that. For example, I have a client, he's a grief coach.
Hmm.
Not really suitable to have a hypey 5-day challenge. So yeah, let's
Right,
get over grief, right? It's just not
right,
not what I recommend. For him, I would more recommend like do your webinar evergreen, nurture your people, get them on a call because it's such a personal thing as well. So it really depends, right? What kind of niche and what, again, the pricing. But generally speaking, most of the niches out there are really suitable for challenges. So that gets you to your first 5 figures. But then you want to implement different strategies to get consistent income, because obviously like launches is like a quick cash injection. You make a lot of money and you enroll a lot of people,
mhm,
but then what happens after you finish your launch,
right,
right? So there needs something needs to happen now.
right.
So you implement different strategies there to make it more consistent.
Mhm.
I would recommend to also keep launching every few months because it's an amazing experience for people to get to know you, keep nurturing your people, right? So to get to your first 5 figures, either launches, challenges, things like that, depending on the niche, or sell a grief coaching package over the phone. Can already be one package, 10K is easy to sell that, right? And then go to 6 figures, utilizing the same strategy. So you can get to 6 figures easily without paid ads as well, which we did too, right?
Right.
But then to get from 6 to 7, you definitely need to add teams and paid ads and all of the things. So that is more the difference. 5 and 6 figures, not too much of a difference.
Right, right. Yeah, I think from 6 to 7 figures, you need like a different kind of lead velocity, right? You need to get leads faster, which is a bit difficult to do organically. unless you overnight become a social media celebrity and then just start attracting a lot of people organically, right? That, or like, instead of going on a tiny podcast, you appeared on a radio show or a TV show, or like Oprah or something,
Yeah.
and then you automatically skyrocket with a lot of inbound leads, and then that probably gets you free leads a lot. But I think apart from that, you just need to scale things in a different way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. How would you say? So we talked about courses. We talked about getting free leads. Uh, what is the difference between creating courses and coaching?
Oh, good question. Well, the delivery and the packaging, I would say.
Hmm.
Courses, digital videos, which you sell, right?
Right.
And then coaching is a bit more involvement from the creator.
Hmm.
Like, are you going to meet your people once a week to help them get through the obstacles? Maybe you're presenting once a week live. For us, for example, we do once per week coaching, and then also once per week tech support, because we sell the software in combination with the courses and coaching, right?
Hmm.
So you get more people to the finish line and better results if you involve yourself
Right.
and you show up for Q&As and support them with some questions in a Facebook group or some Zoom chat, Facebook chat or Voxer, whatever support system you want to provide. It doesn't matter the
Right.
platform. It's more about coaching is really more about coaching people through their
Hmm.
obstacles, seeing things from a different perspective. It's more people focused. It's more people involved
Right.
compared to courses. It's just a digital product which you can just sell and that's it. See you later. You don't really have much to do with people.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. And I think with coaching, there are a few different formats, right? You can do maybe like one-to-one coaching. You can do like group coaching. So like, how do you usually price that, and how is one better than the other in terms of you as a coach and your time and your energy, and the students who actually take it.
Sorry, can you say that again?
When you create coaching, right? So there are two things which I've usually seen people do. One is one-to-one coaching, and the other is group coaching. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, group coaching is probably much better for you as a creator or a coach because it involves less of your time. Uh, and then you just have a group session like once a week or something, and then probably one-to-one is it takes a lot more time from you directly, but probably gives you more money as well, right?
That's right. Like, yes, you can scale better with group coaching, but
Mhm.
also I think for students it's better too, because if you're in the same room with other people who do the same thing as you do, then it's easier to stay
Right.
motivated, and also you learn from other people's questions they have asked. Maybe you wanted to ask the same question, or maybe you didn't know you have the same question or problem, and I think it's more beneficial for the students as well as for the coach. Yes, for sure.
Yeah. So you
But
would
again, it
say,
also depends on the niche, right? Like if you're grief coach, maybe you don't want to be with 10 other grieving people in the room. It really depends.
right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So group coaching is probably much better than one-on-one unless it is some specific niches where you don't want to be in a group.
Right. You can do both though as well. Like you can offer both, right? Obviously group coaching is also cheaper and more affordable because you can take in more people. So if you go one-on-one, if people really want your one-on-one time, double the price minimum,
Yeah.
because it fills up your calendar. It takes your energy, right? Like it is a lot more hands-on for you as the coach.
Right.
So yeah, you can do both just as an experience as well. Some other people just really love one-on-one only.
Mhm.
Some other people just really love group coaching only. Like there's pros and cons to everything in life, right?
Right. Right.
So
Yeah, but I think with like with group you can probably scale better. With one-to-one you have like a ceiling of how many hours you really want to be on Zoom call
absolutely.
with people, right?
Yeah,
Like you can't really spend 5 days a week on Zoom calls, and that's like your maximum limit there. So
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think because the other aspect of kind of creating courses and coaching and all those things is also the kind of freedom you can get from that, right? So you like the time freedom you get is so much more valuable than just the things which you can't do in a normal 9 to 5 job, which is why people kind of go in this way, and then they just have more time on their hands. So I think anything which can scale higher without you is definitely more advisable, right?
100%, but also again, it depends on how big you want to go with your business, right? At some point, you can also hire sub coaches. There's many bigger coaching businesses out there who do that. They just teach their methodology to other people, other coaches who come in, they train them, and then they continue to teach the students. And then
Right.
the owner focus on more of the vision and keep driving the company forward. Again, it really depends on
Mhm.
where you want to go. Similar with the salespeople crew there.
Right.
Like if you want to get to 7 figures, you probably need a few salespeople as well. Yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah, I think any business which kind of starts from zero and goes to like six to six or like mid six figures a year is a really good business to have, and then you can just do that without a lot of startup capital, which is one of the key things here.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that the overhead is like close to zero. All you got to do is invest money on the software, which is not much. And then, of course, the coach who can help you to get there, but that's about it.
Right.
Right. So you don't need to pay an office or some other crazy things. Like that's about it.
Yep. Yep. Speaking of software, like what kind of tools that are there that we need to start with?
The only tool you need is Coach Marketing Hub.
What is that?
It is an all-in-one platform which does everything you need to do online.
Okay.
Builds funnels, builds websites,
Okay.
sends emails, sends SMS, allows you to schedule calls or books appointments,
Okay.
allows you to schedule social media posts into your Facebook groups, TikTok, YouTube, wherever you're present. It just allows you to do literally everything. And it allows you to host your courses and to add students and to create affiliates, all the things you need online as a course creator or coach. That's what Coach Marketing Hub can do for you. Yeah.
Okay, so you can basically build all your like lead pages and landing pages and capture all your leads, email them as often as you want, and then
Yeah.
convert them into a sale as well, and then give them the courses. And do you also do like like live webinars and stuff as well in that system?
Evergreen webinars in that
Yeah,
system,
evergreen
yes.
webinar.
So the live things I like to do on Zoom
Yeah,
because it's
Zoom
just
is
easier. Everyone has that.
yeah,
I don't like it to make people sign up for something additional because that
right.
there's a drop off rate already.
Mhm.
If you sell something and you say Zoom,
Mhm.
because everyone has Zoom,
Yeah,
everyone will click on the Zoom link and show up, or you just stream it into your Facebook group, or maybe both,
yeah,
right? I would never actually recommend it to stream it to your Facebook group only because they can shut you down quickly.
right.
Do it both, like do it on Zoom for sure. So
Mhm.
because everyone has it, don't make them sign into another summit
Right.
platform, webinar platform, whatever platform. No.
Right, right. So you said Facebook group. So you would say that just all the leads that you get, all the people interested in your niche, like basically put them in a Facebook group, right? And then just kind of
Yes,
nurture them more over
I
there.
I do that, yes, but I still do my live videos on Zoom.
Okay.
But still, if I give like homework
Mhm.
for the challenge, for example,
Mhm.
I encourage them to share their homework in the Facebook group so
Mhm.
that people see, okay, something is happening, other people are doing their homework,
Right.
and then other people who didn't sign up yet,
Mhm.
also see something is going on and maybe still sign up. Yeah.
Right. Right. All right. All right. I remember we spoke about things earlier, and you were like, a challenge is probably the most successful strategy you have uh, had so far in this. So how does that work? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I mean, challenge is great. It is the most profitable thing out there.
Mhm.
I've done pretty much everything under the sun out there. Some things were very successful more than others, but more about the time commitment and investment from yourself as the creator.
Mhm.
For compared to Summit, for example, right? A challenge compared to Summit. I ran a summit of, I think it was 2 weeks, and I interviewed 35 people, and it was very time consuming.
Mhm.
It did take a lot of time and effort to create that, to, organize speakers, to record the videos, to marketing, this, that, blah. I was like working on this full time nonstop for like 6 months
Okay.
versus a challenge, right? It was multiple five figures I made from that, but it
Okay.
could have been a lot better. But then I built my audience as well, and I had really great sponsors on board who shared, the event with their email list, which was really great. It skyrocketed my audience
Mhm.
drastically. So it really depends on the outcome you're after. Do you want to build your list? Do you want to sell? Do you want to stand out and build your authority? Whatever it is for a summit. But compared to a challenge, for example, which goes between 3 and 5 days, I teach 4-day challenges. I find them highest converting.
Mhm.
The time effort you're spending on it is a lot less. Obviously, you don't need 6 months to prepare compared to summit, right?
Right.
Like you can have a 5-figure launch starting from scratch in week 6 or 7, maximum 8, if you follow our strategy. So that compared to 6 months of time and then running the show and then being exhausted, do the challenge, like hands down.
Okay. Okay. So basically, all the leads that you gather from all the free content you create, basically organize a challenge, which is like a 3 day or a 4 day challenge, and then
Yeah,
have them achieve certain tasks, certain goals in the process, and then that lets you, convert more people from the lists, from the leads into, basically buying customers, right?
correct. Yeah.
Nice, nice. And then a summit sounds like a lot of work. Like I've heard of these. I've attended a few, but then I didn't know like it was a scheduling nightmare as well for all these interviews and all those things. And then I think they cater to different things, right? I think with a summit, the audience mostly comes to attend and just listen, whereas in a challenge they come and participate, which is more hands-on. And then that is why it probably works much better, right? And gets you the best results.
Could be both. Like, it could be many things. Like you can also create a summit in a way that you involve your audience a little bit more, so you
Mhm.
can be very interactive there too.
Okay.
That is a topic for another whole other episode. Like how to
Right.
run a successful summit, really for sure.
Right.
But yeah,
Mhm.
many things play a role there. So
Right. Right. I've heard summits are great for list building because a lot of people actually like cross promote and all those things, and then you just build a larger
mm,
email list, right? That's one of the the larger advantages I've heard of doing a virtual summit. Right?
it depends.
Mhm.
Again, the depends on what goal you have. If you want to build your list,
Mhm.
you structure your summit in one way. If you want to sell, you structure your summit in another way. And if you want to build authority only, you structure your summit in another way.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
And so courses, coaching, and then the software. So let's talk a little bit more about the software, because like we are primarily into building new software products. So you seem to have
Oh yeah.
something where you have everything under one umbrella, and then it does everything any course creator or a coach needs for needs to use them.
Yeah.
What like is it easy to use? Like, is there a learning curve? Is it something that that I absolutely need, and at what point do I need that?
Yeah, good question. So basically, the software can be used by everyone. We
Mhm.
obviously just had to niche down. Like any online entrepreneur could really use it,
Mhm.
um, since it does everything what you need to do online to sell anything, right?
Mhm.
And yes, you do need it because where else are you going to host your leads? Where else are you going to send your leads to where they leave their email address
Mhm.
in order to get that freebie, for example? Because the money is in your email list. Like
Right.
that's what should be your pure focus because you don't own your social media followers. You want to every day you want to work on getting those people off social media into your CRM. So Coach Marketing Hub is a CRM, customer relationship management system, right? So you want to pay a lot of attention on your email list.
Mhm.
The size of your email list dictates how much money you're going to make.
Right.
So yes, you do need it.
Right. Yeah. So basically, the focus has to be just growing your email list as much as possible, right? It doesn't matter how big of a following you have on social media. Like I've seen people have like a few 100K followers, and then when they try to convert them into an offer or something, like a very very small small number of people buy, and that's
Yeah.
not good. So I think you need engaged followers, and you need people actually on your email list, right?
Mhm.
That's actually probably converts better.
That's right.
Yeah. Nice, nice. Okay. Anything else that you would like to tell us about, turning a passion on or an idea into a course or a coaching or something which actually makes money and makes more money, which is what we're about, make more.
Anything else? I mean, it depends on where everyone is at. I would say give it a try. Like, you have nothing to lose. Like if,
Mhm.
if it didn't work out, you can at least say it didn't work out, but chances are it will. And if
Right.
some launch didn't work out in a way you envision it to be,
Mhm.
it doesn't mean the next one won't, right? So
Right.
stick at it, like go and test it out, create um, go and research your topics
Mhm.
and if you need help, come along and say hi. And really, I really believe, strongly believe there is a course topic or a coaching topic inside of everybody.
Right.
So, and I think you should definitely think about your future as well, and maybe the future of your family if you're looking after people, in order to have maybe a second income coming in, right? This is always a good idea. If you're currently working somewhere, or if you're currently a done for you service or whatever you're doing, it's always, always, always a great idea to have another additional asset, because digital products are actually an asset, right? Everything you do online is an asset. Like you
Yeah.
creating your podcast right now is an actual asset, right? It leaves digital footprints behind where people can find you forever, right? Once you create products online and you've successfully sold them once or twice, it's an asset. You can then sell it over and over and over again. So really, my message to you is just go for it. Like you
Yeah.
have nothing, literally nothing to lose. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I think from what I've gathered so far, it's really, really easy to kind of get started. I think step one would be just to start creating more content on Facebook, on any any platform out there, right? You don't also need to dive into creating YouTube videos. If you're shy and you just want to create some content and see if there is interest on your topic, just write, write a post on Facebook, or basically write a post on Instagram, right? Instagram has these slide image type things, and you can just create
Right.
posts there, and then that just gets you good amount of traction. And start with that, and then just basically put people into a Facebook group. And then after that, they can use Coach Marketing Hub to kind of turn those leads into, email sequences, and, like nurture sequences and all those things, and then turn that into sales. So I think that is, so the 0 to 1 is basically like finding your topic, identifying your niche, and then just turning those, like finding, having enough leads, and then putting them into a Facebook group, and then just nurture them from there. I think that's a
Good.
really easy way to start. Yeah. Yeah.
Sure. Coach Marketing App also integrates with the Facebook groups, by the way. So you can just, with one click of a button, you can funnel them straight from your Facebook group into the CRM, which I found quite cool, because then you don't have to copy and paste, or
Right.
don't need to mention Excel sheet or whatever. It's just straight there, and then they can straight go into your evergreen nurturing sequence from there.
Right. That is really cool. Yeah, yeah. And you
Yeah.
said that you do these challenges and events, or things a few times a year. So are you actually having any plans of doing one in the future, like near future?
Yeah, actually, in a few weeks from now, we have Get Your Course Idea Kickstarted,
Hmm.
which helps you to find your course idea, to validate your course idea. We will help you to create a marketing proposition, and we help you to map out your own 5-figure launch. So
Okay.
that's one of our most popular challenges, which will happen in a few weeks' time.
Okay.
If you are listening to this before August, please, pop by, say hi. And if you're listening to this after, I'll probably run another challenge soon as well. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. We'll post a link under this video, and then people can go and sign up from
cool.
there as well. Yeah, yeah. And then
Awesome.
is it a free challenge, or is it a paid challenge? Like, how does that work?
Currently, it's a free one. If
Okay.
they want to watch the replays later, they have to pay for it.
All right.
So if you're listening to this, come on now. It's free now.
Mhm.
Pay now. Get it free for now or pay later.
Right. That's good. That's good. And then they will be able to map out their idea, their niche, and then come up with a course topic, and then get the first hurdle out of the way, so they know what exactly do they want to create as a course or a coaching business. Right. That's the purpose of this challenge, I suppose.
Exactly. Yeah. 100%.
Nice, nice. That's great. That's great. All right, great. So I think we got a lot of insights into starting from zero, and then making a six-figure course or coaching business. And then I think the really important part here was that you don't need really a lot of investment to really start. Right? You can literally start for free from your existing social media profiles, and then just test it out. And then with your challenge, if they're able to find and define the right topic and the right course, the right thing to create is basically super important. Without that, they're probably going in the wrong direction, which is not good, because they'll just waste their time. So I think it is important to kind of find out what you really want to sell, and if there's really some money to be made in that topic, and then they can go from there. And then if they get
Right.
the first sale is basically really, really easy. It's not that hard. People make it out to be a lot
It's not.
harder than it seems, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's not. Awesome, awesome. Great,
Correct.
great, great talking to you, Tina. And I think we learned a
Thank
lot,
you.
and we'll probably create a good summary of this as well, and use ChatGPT to put that into a PDF, and and then basically people can download that and use that as well for their like for their learnings and their references. Yeah. Perfect.
Perfect.
Perfect. All right. All right. Great. Thank you for being on the show, Tina. And we had a great conversation. And yeah, I look forward to attending your challenge, and then, trying to come up with a new idea for myself for a new coaching
Oh,
topic.
nice. Perfect.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Same here.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, and I will see you another time.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for being here, Tina. Lovely having you here. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.